So the episode opens at Bronner Brothers. Oh Lord, there's Carlton again. So Cynthia's there as a judge at a hair pageant, doing her job as a model. And then Kenya comes in, uninvited, unwanted, and unnecessary, waving as she goes down the escalator with General Pop. You're not even in VIP. You walking down the same regular elevator. Everybody's looking at you like, who? Who you waving at? So Cynthia, Derek J, Kenya Moore, and Miss Lawrence are all sitting backstage, and Miss Lawrence asks, would you rather have a stallion booty or a donkey booty? I'd rather have a good human butt. That's what I'd rather have. I'd rather my ass look human. That's just me. Because now Kenya has decided to do her own exercise video focusing on the butt. Kenya said, well, since I can't steal your man, I'll steal your idea. And of course, Penelope Thomas comes over since it's a swish of sissies. And he said, ooh yeah, donkey booty's kind of broken down. I'd prefer the stallion. After a boring scene with Nene and the grandchild she started ignoring, we have Candy heading over to Derek J's. And Derek J fills her in on the stallion booty. So Candy calls Phaedra immediately because she doesn't think it's really cool. Well, you see, I feel like turnabout is fair play. Phaedra tried to screw Kenya over with the back end and didn't want to pay her anything and wasted her time. So she's like, shoot, I done already done the work. You're not going to use it. I'll do it myself. Lord, so we got Kenya giving one of her classes in a gym, not even at the Barely Agency. Child, she doing a kid's fashion show. All the video shoot and arts and entertainment going on in Atlanta, and this is the best gig you could cast. And it's a benefit, so you was doing it for the free tip. Child, Phaedra and Apollo come by with Aiden and try to get him to walk the runway, and he ain't having it. Child, he crying, he's sick of them cameras. Oh, and now Porsha's here. For what? You ain't got no kids. Ooh, Lord, Porsha, this outfit is a mess of sparkles. So Porsha said, I heard there was two videos, Phaedra, a donkey and a stallion. What's going on? So Porsha's taking every dig at Kenya she can. Phaedra, didn't you hear what Kenya did to Cynthia? I can't believe you would work with her. You knew it was going to go awry. Phaedra said, oh, I was taking up for Kenya because I just thought she had a drinking issue. She seemed drunk that night. Phaedra says, well, this is how bipolar people act. And Cynthia's like, girl, it's not personal. It's just business. After all, you tried to screw her over first, but to say the heifer is a drunk bipolar is going a little too far. But across town, Kenya and Candy, they go into Kenya's production designer so that Candy can decorate Riley's room. So Candy's like, okay, Kenya, if we gonna be cool, you can't be stealing ideas from me, because if you'll do it to Phaedra, you'll do it to me. So Candy hears Kenya's side, and she's like, okay, I guess you did put in a little work, but you still bootlegging her idea. So Candy thinks Kenya and Phaedra should have a conversation, but Kenya's like, shoot, I got the deal. They still want the product. I'm gonna come out with it if it ain't gonna work with her. For once, I ain't mad at Kenya on this one. Phaedra tried it, you denied it. So Phaedra goes to meet with another production company for her donkey booty. Oh, but across town we have Nene and the welcome mat on the back of her head having a drink with Cynthia. Oh, and Porsha and Phaedra are having a meeting as well. So Porsha says the only reason me and Phaedra ain't hung out is because Kenya was up in Phaedra's ear. But now that she sees that Kenya's a kook, you can get used as her patsy. See, God was looking out for you. Kenya's crazy, but Phaedra almost got you put off the show. So we end up on the subject of counseling because they both kind of newlyweds. And she said, yeah, even Kenya needs some counseling because she sure couldn't keep her man. So she can realize when a man don't want her, which is often. So they bond over the fact that they can't stand Kenya. But now it's the night of Cynthia's fashion show. Nene and Kenya also arrive. Well, Nene in the welcome mat on the back of her head. She gave us 2 episodes of a crisp, done back head. And now we just back to a messy kitchen. It's just so fried back there. I mean, between the over-perming and then the bleaching of the blonde, it's just... that hair looks like all its life it had to fight and it just wants to quit. That hair is like, you know what, I'm out of here. I am phoning it in. So now Kenya sees that Phaedra's cuddled up to Porsha since she's cut her off. Kenya catches Nene up on the donkey booty drama. Nene, however, is very happy that Kenya's sticking it to Phaedra. But Phaedra walks up, so what's going on? And Kenya says, I'm doing stallion booty. That's what's going on. So Phaedra gonna say, well, you know a stallion is a male stud horse. And Kenya said, yeah, but it's about the body. I mean, you've got a donkey booty, which is basically making an ass out of yourself. Nene's still mad at Phaedra for trying to bring her half-sisters on the show, which I must say is pretty low. So now Apollo show up and said, so basically you've turned into a biter. Speak English. Well, you're a copycat, you understand that? You don't own the copyright to exercise videos. I mean, no, she doesn't, but also, Phaedra, I don't know why you didn't think when you was doing business as a shark, you might not get bit by a bigger one. Instead of being gracious and saying, we'll let the best woman win, I can't believe it. Me and Kenya are agreeing again. You didn't like the deal, you didn't like the deals. This woman belongs on a curb somewhere, waiting for the trash man to pick her up. Again, you and your things got put out on the curb. You kept saying curb, 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 till you spoke your curb into existence. And that was the shit. So let's get to a trailer review. Okay, what's Reminiscence all about? All right, so we opening up with the city's flooded. Looks like we're in Miami and it's half underwater. And we following somebody's voice in a journey of mind. So when the waters rose and war broke out, nostalgia became a way of life. It's Hugh Jackman, we got Thandie Newton, and people is like in these tubs living in the past. Almost a Matrix T. So he looking for the love of his life because she done disappeared. And we want to know who this mystery woman is because it looks like she had to go kill somebody right quick. Okay, it looks cute. It's very date night. It's a cute date night movie. This is something where you're going to have a glass of wine. All right, and now demonic because I love a horror movie. Okay, so we hooked up to a whole bunch of stuff in a lab and we're going under like I guess we in the cell. Yeah, we in a virtual reality. Okay, so we've got weird alphabet music in the background. Oh, she. And then we getting just random flashes, people getting arrested in the rain, school looking like buildings, somebody with a cross burning their back. We got a claw coming out of the closet, random dead people. That was a piss poor trailer. Piss poor. We open the episode with lumpy butt, bark-skinned Kenya at her trainer's. Now this trainer looks nice. Maybe you should try to date him. Then we have Phaedra across town getting her photo shoot ready, and man, that little chicken drumette body, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry, you ain't got nobody's business doing no exercise. Now at least Kenya's abs are hers, her arms are hers. Now her butt, that was botched. The butt is botched. It's a botched butt. But everything else, you know, she's got together. But Phaedra, you look like you don't exercise. And it's just amazing how this suit doesn't accentuate anything positive about you. It just makes your butt look flat and your bust look small. Oh, another failed arm of the business. She's trying to get into pageants. So they talk about who's going to MC these pageants, and we flash back to Cynthia trying to read models' names, and she said, yeah, that ain't gonna be me. We need an MC. Oh, he telling her the game, though. He's like, look, you have a $75 entrance fee, charge $10 per photo, then $50 to $100 for everybody to do a talent. Oh, they're raking it in. Get a glam squad, $65 for hair, $85 for makeup. And you make a percentage off everything that the makeup and hair people make because you're putting them out there. They getting paid while they getting paid and then getting paid. Oh, goodness. Kenya and Porsha are having a lunch for what? You don't like each other. So Kenya invited Porsha to explain her side of the story of what's going on with phony Fefe. Kenya tells her everything that Phaedra's saying about me isn't true. Porsha said, I know you and Phaedra got beef, but we had beef prior, so anything she says isn't affecting our poor relationship. Now, Kenya trying to warn her, you're being a pawn. You're letting Fefe move you around the board. Not a rook, not a knight, but a pawn. Porsha says I can only be a pawn if I allow myself to be. Well, we'll just see about that, Porsha. We'll just see about that when the cease and desissies come home to roost. Porsha said, look, you just bringing me some hearsay, he say, she say, and I'm not going to participate, babe. Kenya said, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Porsha said, no, you're just making stuff up. Well, I'm trying to come to you woman to woman, but I need to have a woman in front of me. Oh, you're insulting me now? Go on, throw your napkin. And the two of them walk out in a huff. Bye, you have a safe trip. Bye, Ashy. Bye, Ashy. Buckle up. Kenya, I don't know why you thought Porsha was going to give you anything but a headache. And Kenya gonna say, that's all you got, that I'm ashy? They make lotion for that. Then why don't you use some, dear? Why don't you use some? So Nene shopping for furniture with Greg that she can't afford, asking for interior designing advice that she won't take. Meanwhile, with Cynthia and her pageant sissy, she's invited Porsha to come join her rather than Kenya, who showed her butt at the Jet Beauty pageant. And Porsha's gonna have the Hosea Williams Foundation be one of the sponsors for the pageant. So the spaces that they're looking at are a little too big. The sissies suggest they go with a smaller hall. They get a smaller auditorium in the same venue so that way it doesn't feel as empty as Porsha's head. So their biggest issue is the venue. They ain't got nobody signed up for this pageant, which means you ain't made no money. And it's just weeks away. So Porsha's family's donation is going to cover the venue. Oh, Cynthia said she wanted to give the proceeds to a charity, and Cynthia said, a portion. That 1%. Now he starts showing them crowns and sashes and what's going to make the girls pay that entry fee. A tiara. Child, I just go buy my kid a tiara. I crown you whoever the heck you gonna be. Go on, little biffa. All of a sudden, Porsha's been drafted into an assistant position, and she's like, well, I'm not a pageant expert. I can teach you how to marry a sissy, but that's about it. So Candy, Porsha, Cynthia, and Shamia go out to dinner. And this is Shamia's first appearance. So they got belly dancers at this restaurant, and Porsha's like, well, do the booty dance instead of the belly dance. Put some bells on it and get your shimmy on. Candy gonna say, Phaedra owns that idea. Let me take it back. Kenya might try to do it too. Well, I guess Candy's still burned from, don't be tardy for the party. Don't be tardy for the party. They're tardy, all right. Late, through, and delayed. Oh, and speak of the heifer, here comes Phaedra now. So Phaedra's giving an update on how wonderful things are going with the donkey booty. Phaedra said, well, I know everybody from the vice president on down, so I got the hookup with Jane Fonda's people. You need a hookup, you let me know. She gonna say, I know Tyler Perry just a little bit. Girl, you passed him in a mall and said hey, and he looked at you funny. Because you're funny looking. Ooh, Lord, Porsha with her yellow eyeshadow and Phaedra with her green. I'm not surprised those two were as thick as the thieves that they are. Cause if Phaedra a thief, you know Porsha's stealing too. We just ain't caught her yet. But Cynthia thinks it's not fair for Phaedra to talk about Kenya when she's not there to defend herself. Well, who invited her? Oh, that's right, no one invited Kenya because everyone has a problem with her. But now Porsha talks about the lunch Kenya invited her to and how she had to leave her on the curb with her ashy feet. Like your husband left you on the curb, waiting for your mama to pick you up and take you home. Phaedra said, were her feet really ashy? You know they were. Were you really stealing vehicles? We know you were. Candy says, why would you go to lunch with somebody you arguing with? Candy, you make too much sense for this show sometimes, but then we look at your tacky fashions like this cheap Deb shirt you got on and we realize why you're here. Oh God, Porsha's gonna sing at Cynthia's pageant? I forgot we've got to deal with flatline. And flatline is appropriate because your singing is flat. Flatter than Mary J. Blige's, and that's some flat singing. And Mary J. can sing in that flat key. Oh my gosh, she said I would describe my singing voice as Mary J. Blige. Did I not call it? Child, I dialed direct. And then she gonna say, and Beyonce mix. Beyonce can hit a note. But there's that thieving spirit in you. That's why you're gonna say Beyonce, that thieving spirit that Phaedra has. You see all three of you, just three thieves in a pod. So Candy says, okay, well, let's hear you. Give us a belt. I'm old school. You got to be ready at the drop of a dime. You got to have monologues on deck. But Porsha said, I've actually had this cold. Are you making excuses? I can't stand when people say they're gonna sing and then you ask them to sing and they won't sing. Like that heifer from Destiny's Child that came on R&B Divas to not hum a note. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. I mean, she couldn't even hit background singing notes. Portia's like, all right, y'all are calling me out. No, you just know you can't sing in key. Child, Porsha take a little sip of water and a little sip of tea. I sing because I'm happy. And then, music's coming on. Saved by the Bell. Child Production sent the belly dancers back in. They said, we don't got clearance for this song. Back in LA with Nene, we're bored. Best fiends and fast forward. Nene meeting with her acting coach, and she said she's worked with Diane Lane and Heffer Aniston. I hope I get an Emmy working with her. Well, continue to get your hope on. They're going to be dashed, but, continue to hope. I hope to get an Emmy, too. But back in Atlanta with Kenya and Cynthia, they're giving us true lesbonics on the golf course. I mean, Cynthia came out in stud attire. Well, STEM attire. I never understood golf. I'm not chasing balls around a park unless there's hope for an orgasm. Cynthia tells Kenya about the dinner last night and the fact that her drama was the topic of conversation with the group and she should really talk with Phaedra. Ain't no talking. Ain't no talking with a fraud and a felon. Ain't no talking with someone who really wants to use you as a patsy. Phaedra was trying to use Kenya. And Cynthia's doing a little bit of bone carrying, telling her everything Phaedra said. Oh, she don't need you. She knows presidents. You're lucky to be her friend. Girl, we went through all your issues from alcoholism to a chemical imbalance. And Kenya gonna say, well, guess what? I don't take it lying down. Not even from my man. Maybe that's why you can't keep one, because you always trying to have sex standing up. That gets exhausting. I want to be in the bed. Like even a shower. I'm too big to be having sex in anybody's shower. Just let's get in the bed. All that standing up, it's like on counters and stuff. Your ass getting the imprint of a waffle iron in it. Just, no, thank you. No, thank you. So I guess since Cynthia didn't have Nene's crotch to crawl up, she decided to hang out in Cynthia's. However, across town, Kenya meets with Lawrence to talk about her plans to get even with felon Feifei. Lawrence actually had a point. You shouldn't have opened up to Feifei. She ain't share nothing about her life with you or anyone else, especially the feds, who always are knocking. Lawrence said, I heard Phaedra say she didn't like me and the gays that wear the heels, because she's afraid they're going to snatch her man. I mean, after all, he's always in and out of prison. 5 years at a stretch, he's sitting twixt somebody's knees. Kenya really gonna say, I'm not trying to say Phaedra looks manly. Well, we're not trying to say your booty looks lumpy, your skin looks barky, your heels look ashy. But they do. They do. Kenya said, I'm not stupid, I'm a role model. In what? I mean, I guess with managing your money. You do manage your money well. So maybe that's what you should talk about. How you've gotten so rich. How you paid your house off and stay out of debt news. I'd love to know. Maybe that'll lead you where you really want to be. Because this ain't it. Oh, Lord, Nene's launching a clodhopper for Shoe Dazzle. I mean, all you ever wore were Louboutins. You never had style. It was just, if it was a label, you'd throw it on. So it's Nene's charity event back in Atlanta, and everybody show up. Somebody was there from the WNBA, and Nene said, well, I can slam dunk on you, girl. And I agree, because Nene's built like a power forward. So Kenya is the last to arrive, and she's giving us full Phaedra Parks in Jamaica. Butt pads and all. Phaedra, is that your bathing suit? Yes, it is. And ooh, it was tacky. Now you see, Kenya had them butt pads on so we wouldn't see her lump and her bump. Nene is elated. I wish I could say the same for that head. It's gone from a nice blonde, like I like that almost white blonde, but now it's piss yellow. Piss yellow. Candy said, where did this moment come from? Oh my God. I mean, she has blue eyeshadow just all around the eye. Like a raccoon. Like literally, she put blue eyeshadow under here. under here. It's bad enough when it's here. It's bad enough here. But then under the eye, oh God. Why do you wake up every day, look at Bozo and say, I'm gonna make you proud. I'm gonna be your daughter. That's what your daddy was, Bozo, because the makeup is clownish. And Nene's shoe she designed was not that cute. The way it just cut you off at the ankle. No, you should have a low vamp. You could have done something really classic and stylish, but of course you couldn't. You had to do something cheap and of the moment. I mean, that lace is so dated, like yourself. So now Kenya confronts Phaedra as Nene says, clear the air now. Phaedra says, well, I said you're bipolar and you have a drinking problem. And this outfit kind of proves it. You know damn well I don't have a problem. That's true, the only problem Kenya has is keeping a man. Shame on you, Phaedra. Shame on you. Shame. 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 Now, Kenya, you have to realize you are a copycat. Now, it's fair that you're copying because, you know, you ain't just gonna leave the deal on the table after you've worked for free. But, literally, you've got to take that label and take it on the chin. Be like, yeah, I'm copying you because you tried to screw me over. So I'm gonna do it bigger and better. You tried to do your butt bigger and better and it turned into lumps and bumps, so I don't know if you can, but give it a whirl. Kenya's used to jealous women. Child, jealous of what? What do you have to be jealous of? You got money, I'll give you that. You got money. But I'd rather be middle class and keep a man than be rich and alone. Rich and alone. Phaedra gonna say, I was trying to give you an opportunity to get fleeced. I never said one nasty thing about you, Phaedra. Not one. And I think that is true. She complained that Phaedra didn't think that she should get anything, but she never said anything bad about her. You tried to throw Kenya up under the bus, but you did try to steal Phaedra's husband. And then again, you know, he's an idiot, so he's easy to steal. I could probably get him. I don't want him, though. No penitentiary phallus for me. So Candy says, well, you doing the donkey booty video comes off as coming for her and confrontate. Kenya says, look, a deal was on the table. I wasn't going to pass it up. And I have to say, would I pass it up? Not over Feifei, especially when I didn't work to get you the deal. But Kenya has another point. I never personally attacked her. Now, if you want to come for me as a businesswoman, come for me as a copycat or whatnot. And I got to take that. Well, Kenya, you need to take that. But, she didn't say that Phaedra was a drunk or Phaedra was a thief or everything that Angela Stanton wrote is true. I will say I think that everything Angela Stanton wrote is true, allegedly. So Phaedra, by being extra nasty, took it to another level. Kenya said, you know what, even if you thought it shouldn't have been said, I don't think you should be doing a workout video because your body's not there. And truer words have never been said. Candy was trying hard not to laugh. Well, that was the shot. All right, I'll see you soon for Housewives of Beverly Hills, Sisters, and Family Karma. Sisters is back for season 3. God, I gotta get to Girls Run the World too. Should I give up on Sisters? No, because do I want to know what happens? Do I care? Oh, goodness. We open with Porsha picking out a dress for Cordelia's 40th Booty Toot anniversary. And she comes out in this princess dress and Diane says, well, it doesn't show any cleavage. You really think he wants to look at cleavage? Maybe because it reminds him of the butt he's going to put his face in later, but he ain't trying to look at nobody's breast. Cordell loves to dress me. I'm his Barbie doll. He dressed you up in his love till he dressed you up in your own poverty. Girl, he's particular about what you wear because he's trying to slip in them dresses when you go out shopping. You are the drag queen he's always wanted to be, but he knows his wide football back would never really allow him to daintily swish down the runway. However, across town, Phaedra goes by Candies to dog Kenya. So Phaedra trying to downplay how butthurt she was at Kenya's dead-on impression of her. Well, actually, with Kenya's booty pad, she had a lot more ass than Phaedra. Phaedra got a flat butt. She just sticks it out, like Cordelia. But sticking it out don't make it there. It just means you're sticking out lower back. Ha! Greta in the chat said Phaedra's built like a grape. And she is. Porsha got a brother? Porsha had a brother. So we picking the venue for Cordelia's party. It should be at Swinging Richards. Ooh, shut that baby up, shut that baby up, shut that baby up. Ooh, Lord, that was birth control. Meanwhile, with Cynthia and her barely boy Carlton, they talking about the little scam pageants they about to run. But we know where that goes, right down the toilet, along with Carlton's career. I mean, really, your career is professional sissy, handbag, purse, sidekick, second banana. I couldn't do it. Oh, and Cordelia said no sissies in the house, because, you know, he just start grabbing at it. He don't want nobody around that's going to spill his tea. Oh, Lord. So after the sissies low-key try to cuss Porsha out because her husband wouldn't let them in their house, Porsha tell Cordelia, and he said, oh, you've got to check that. No, girl, did you hear me? Did you hear me, ma'am? You've got to check that. You can't let a sissy's read stand. But I bet you'll sit on it. I am so sick of Cordelia Stewart's I say, foghorn, leghorn ass soliloquies. Meanwhile, across town, Candy's getting back in the studio. For what? I don't know. You gonna help Rashida come out with some more music we're not going to listen to? Candy's been off her game because she's been in love, but she's like, look, I'm gonna get refocused and get these dollars up. Todd may not be able to get his height up, but we can get the money up. But now we don't have to look at Donawana anymore. We're with Cynthia and Porsha at dinner. Porsha gonna check Cynthia because her sissy said so. How your husband tell you to get into a fight with another woman? That's when you're married to a bitch. That's true. When I think of bitch, I think of Cordelia Stewart. Cynthia go on and fire Porsha before she can quit. She's like, I really want to do something with this pageant. I've got something to prove. Well, you're going to prove that you're a failure just like Penelope Thomas Bailey, but that's besides the point. But I think it would be best not to involve you. I wouldn't involve her either. And now it's so all of the work that I've done, girl, the 2 little scenes you shot, yes, all that work. Calling the manager of the foundation, all that 10-second work, down the drain. Cynthia said, well, what have you done? I'm still waiting on the crap from the organization. I can't even get my turn and pose thing ready. Step and repeat. Oh my God. Porsha gonna say it's about the cause, to feed people who don't have any food. That is not the cause. The cause is Cynthia trying to get this fledgling business off the ground. Oh God, I'm a little upset about this because now I have to go back and face my husband. What is your husband like? Why are you scared of your husband? You scared of that sissy girl. He ain't gonna bust a grape. He gonna bust his pussy though. Wow, we hadn't seen Nene the whole episode and it's still been interesting. And the back of her head is still undone. Candy Burris, really, you gonna walk in with your bedroom candy booklet, but getting ready to give us, I stay prayed up cause every man wants a woman. Girl, you don't mix up the Virgin Mary and vibrators. You just don't do it. Oh, wow, I forgot that song was pretty bad. I think I'd rather listen to is what they say. Or I could even do I don't know what heals a heart or where to start to describe how much I love you. God, Candace. She thinks because I was listening to that song all winter making fun of it that somebody's actually gonna buy her music. Now that's funny. Cordelia, you really gonna say you're 40? You better put a 7 after that. Oh my goodness. Porsha trying to pronounce these words. I'm still pretty perturbed. It's perturbed with Cynthia. And Cynthia thinks she taking the high road showing up. Porsha didn't want you there. And Sissy Stewart didn't want to look at you either. Why the fuck is Walter here? Him and his toupee can go. Oh, that's right. Porsha had to make sure he was on the guest list. Then again, it's not that difficult to find a man who doesn't want Kenya. At least it's not difficult for Kenya to find one. Porsha said, I didn't invite Kenya. And Walter was happy to come since Kenya wasn't. Penelope Thomas wants to know where Kenya is too. She's where your wife will soon be, divorced. The guys are like, oh, well, you can always come around, especially since you're not bringing Kenya. But now Cordelia comes putting his big Marcus Jones phone butt in Porsha and Cynthia's business. You and the missus doing okay? Why do you care? I'll tell you why you care, because you secretly want to be the missus. He's just disgusted. Why can't y'all act right? Oh, Cordelia. I know you sitting outside a park right now, just mad you can't get out the car. Kenya had a breast cancer scare, but I'd be way more worried about that butt. All those lumps and bumps. God knows what chemicals are in there, so I'd worry about that, because your butt does look like a growth. Let's take it back down, back down, back down memory lane. So we open at the Beverly Agency with Cynthia setting up her Miss Renaissance pageant. You know, as hard as we are on Penelope Thomas Bailey, we forget that Cynthia was out here with a whole bunch of business blunders as well. Oh, Kenya is mentoring young women. Okay, you can teach them how to hold a coin. You can do that. We ain't never heard you in debt news. But you don't know anything about self-worth. You don't know anything about decent fashion, decent makeup, decent men. Yeah, I don't know if I want you mentoring the youth. Leave the youth alone. I know your youth was messed up, but you ain't got to do that to nobody else. Cynthia tell Kenya, oh yeah, I had to give Porsha the heave-ho with this pageant. You know, if I could get Boris Kojo to co-host, I could get an actual singer to sing. You and your struggle vocals can move on. I guess it's a couple more episodes till Flatline. Lord, so Kenya gonna volunteer to be a judge, and Cynthia's like, I don't know. I remember when you kept saying, coochie crack, coochie crack, coochie crack, coochie crack. But I guess since I ain't got Porsha here to fart things up, you'll do. But in a gayer side of town, we have Cordelia meeting with Porsha. Porsha can't even order a darn Sprite with pizza. Cordelia says, get a wine. She's like, okay, good. Ooh. I feel a little bad for Porsha being bossed around by a bottom all day. I couldn't do it. Wait a minute. I boss me around all... Damn it! Well, at least I'm bossing me around. Better than to be bossed by a lesser bottom. At least I'm a bottom of substance. Cordelia brings up chitlins, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. From the streets of New York all the way out to Vegas, it doesn't matter if you're rich or Bravo famous, because you can't get someone pregnant in the anus. No, you can't get someone pregnant in the anus. Yeah. That's why she didn't get pregnant. Wrong hole. Wrong road. Wrong road. He was going down the wrong road with his pussy. He was trying to back into it and get pregnant. It's like, you got to pull him. But he was tooting. And Porsha got everything she wanted. She got the career and the family. Well, the career and the baby. It's just been one loser after another with you, and now you're with old Grimace. And he does give a Grimace tea. Porsha said, I'm not a single mom. I wouldn't have to do this all by myself anyway. You do have a village, but you are a single mother. Meanwhile, in the felonious part of town, Phaedra and Apollo are having Chef Roble over. And it's so funny that Chef Roble knows Mark, who married Kenya. 6 degrees of sissyration. The way Roble said, every time I eat mussels, I think about vagina, means he doesn't think about it very often. Oh, we're gonna do a girls' trip to LA and visit Nene. Andy, why is Vegas your favorite place? Strippers? 'Cause you sure ain't gambling, not with your cheap self. Ooh, Candy and this hard guitar and pray up. I'm good. I'm praying I won't have to hear this song much longer. Fast forward. Oh my God, Cynthia, this wig. She went over to Nene's and she said, you know what, when in Rome, Nene, the back of your head always messed up, so I'm gonna give you a ponytail that looks like it was from the trash. I mean, literally, it looks like she picked this wig out the trash. I mean, this is like an undone Gabrissi wig. Now, you know Gabrissi's wigs don't look that good when they done. They look like coochie hair, in the words of her assistant. I didn't say it, he did. I wouldn't even call this coochie hair. I wouldn't put that anywhere near my puss. Not that wig. It's acrylic. And so she catching Nene up on what the heifers have been doing while she's been in Hollywood. Nene's surprised Cynthia's going to let Kenya be a judge. She's like, a fool is a fool, and she's right. But so are you, so it takes one to know one. Meanwhile, Porsha's trying to prove her maternal skills to Sissy Stewart by babysitting her brother's kid. We don't hear about that brother no more, nor that baby. So we got another prayed up scene, and then we get back to the pageant with Cynthia. Lord, and she's got this poor man's Leslie Jordan helping her out with the pageant. He's a cross between Leslie Jordan and Todd Chrisley. It doesn't get any more bottom than that, does it? So Cynthia goes to pick up Boris Kojo, and she's like, you ain't got a suit? He's like, no, you didn't tell me to wear a suit. I'm doing you a favor, heifer. Kenya, why didn't you wear your crown? If you're gonna show up and judge and be a beauty queen, why not wear your crown? You are Miss USA, not Miss America, Miss USA. Porsha's showing up late and still got some secret help with that baby, even though her sissy told her not to. This pageant is a complete shit show. The script is out of order. The teens got left off for they part of the fashion show. Boris is in jeans. That's why I call it the Barely Agents. Porsha always show up half past the event's over. Wow, Cynthia actually took her ass off her shoulders and acted like a supportive friend to Cynthia. I can't believe it. Porsha gonna say, I can see myself in this pageant. I know I'm not under 18, but I like dresses that sparkle. I will say, I wish I had Boris Kojo's runway walk. Just so confident and self-assured. The little girl who won this pageant was really happy. I hate to tell you, your prize is a bill. Girl, Cynthia gonna say, I did it. Miss Renaissance is a real pageant. No, it ain't. It needs to be around for a good decade to be real. When it's only 1 year, that's what we call fly-by-night. And the truth is, Bravo paid for most of the setup and the staging. Well, that episode didn't give much, so let's get to the next one when they heff on to Los Angeles. So we open in LA with Nene. Now this episode here gives me the fall of Nene. This is when you see she was really over these girls. She preferred the Hollywood people. Maybe she got sick of arguing for a living. But this is when Nene's ass got on her shoulders and her antlers became askew. She got a split hoof and she took it out on everyone. This marked the change of Nene from the happy-go-lucky, fun, happy to be here girl to I've hired a caterer so that everything's ready for these girls. So on the way to the hotel, the girls get stuck on the hill. Nene waiting for them and she's just exhausted and exasperated. Oh, I'll get my car and come get you. She already is over it. I think she's still cool with Cynthia, but the rest of them heifers and the snipping and the sniping, she's sick of it. Also, Nene doesn't give me the lesbonics tea that all the other ladies have going on. When everybody's clicking and clacking behind your back end, it just might not be fun anymore. Nene says, I like my privacy, so the girls cannot stay at my house. Nene, you couldn't fit them heifers in your house. You had a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And this is when Nene invites all the girls to the 9 o'clock dinner. 9 o'clock sharp. Oh, Cynthia said, we tired and Phaedra ain't even here yet. And that's true. You don't plan things for that first night. People are exhausted. Getting on West Coast time is rough from the East Coast, trust and believe. So yeah, people are zonked out and jet lagged. But you know Nene, she probably was able to get people on a cut rate that night. Oh, so they're supposed to be there at 9 and it's 11:30. They have missed it. Nene, what time was it when you invited them? How many hours passed? Why didn't you call? If they were an hour late and you like, look, unless y'all 10 minutes away, you may as well call it a night. You could have called them first. So Cynthia calls Nene in the car and Nene says, I don't think you need to come. Well, they already on their way, but she was right. I would have said, you ain't got to tell me more than once. I would have said, okay, heifer, okay. Nene said, it is after 11 o'clock. I am not interested in having any guests. Thank you and good night. I'm in the Hollywood Hills, but I still know how to get hood. So, of course, Kenya said, I think we need to just show up. She's upset, but she'll feel better when we get there. No, Kenya was like, all right. She's got her butt on her shoulders. Let's stir the turd. This is Kenya needling and prodding, throwing gas on a fire, inserting herself into a situation she doesn't belong. You were cordially disinvited. But they have on to Nene's anyway. Production said, oh no, we got the camera crew with us. We're gone. We're gone. How dare you show up at almost midnight? If this was real life and a real situation, okay. You knew they were jet lagged from East Coast time. You should have had your dinner the second day. This was poor planning on your part. And you also know them heifers stay late. Not just prayed up, but they stay late up too. So they all get out the car and Nene's like, if you don't go back down that hill. Kenya said, we're doing a sit-in. You ain't here for me, Kenya, because if you were here for me, you would have been here long before midnight. Now, child, they both whining about the money. Greg said, you don't have people spend this kind of money and then show up 3 hours late. They packing the food up and the band is going home. Candy gonna ask for it to go by. Nene said, no, bitch. You were supposed to be on time for the food, but you like to show up late. Late mouths don't get fed. Greg go on and fix Candy a plate because he's got a heart. Nene would have sent her home hungry. And nothing pisses Candy off more than hunger, so she was getting her where she lives. Kenya gonna say, so you won't let us eat off the dining room table I gave you? Well, that's what happens when you give it away. Candy gets in that car. She is pissed that she is hungry. You could at least feed us. She said that with such intensity. She said, Greg gonna bring us fruit and cheese and olives? No, I need a main course. Where's some chicken? Wow, Porsha and Kenya are getting along the next morning, and Kenya made breakfast for everybody. Maybe she can cook. If she could just clean her skin. That's just, just a good apricot scrub, less makeup. Don't go to sleep in your makeup. But it could be the silicone has leaked from her butt, which is why it's lumpy, and it's coming out of the pores in her skin, which is giving it that bark effect, that tree-esque appearance, that hard, gnarled look. Kind of like Stacey Dash in Ankle Tee. So the girls are like, okay, we gonna be on time today so Nene don't put us out again, and they go to their little improv class. While Nene goes over her lines for her one-season wonder, the new normal. Kenya is proud of her work as an actor. What work? You got a smaller body of work than Lisa Ray. Proud of, you haven't danced with me all night. I mean, it would be nice to be that close to Whitney's greatness, but that's Whitney's greatness, not yours. The only time I've seen your acting skills is when you pretend you're in a relationship. And honestly, nobody was buying you and Walter. So I guess I haven't seen your acting skills. Skill being the key word. She naming off all these little bit part under 5 jobs. Oh yeah, delivers from Eva, waiting to exhale, girlfriends. Kenya's saying she's worked with Will Smith and LL Cool J. Why don't we remember? Just because you breezed through a set, just because, they were in the same script, you were at the party scene, you're a glorified extra. You're an extra with lines. A whole bunch of craft services people have brought them sandwiches too. So we all get now on in this improv class. So they supposed to do an exercise where they yell compliments at each other, and of course Kenya's gonna talk about Phaedra's bunions. Before she knew about her fraud and her felonious husband, there was always the bunion. The bunions are so amazing. Face out here looking like a New York Times bestseller for the blind, and you want to talk about her bunions. With black-eyed knees, you want to bring up a bunion. I've never seen bunions that beautiful. Oh, bunion is such a fun word. When it's Kenya's turn, Porsha says, oh my God, your belly button is invisible. And in walks Nene. I wish I could say she was late because she was getting the back of that head done, but nope. Nene, what is it like having a thicket on the back of your head? It's a thicket. I mean, if you could put a little gel on it. Just a little gel. Or maybe you could do like a skunk do and do this Peter Pan blonde, or put, your dedicated quick weave piece in, and then just leave the back all natural. Or I don't know, are you afraid of the hot, you could buzz it. You could do a slick buzz in the back like they do the half-shaved heads. You could just buzz the back. If you refuse to do it, at least just shave it off, because you will not tend to it. You just let the blonde dye fry it and dry it, kind of like Kim Fields' hair, but then you just leave it. You just forget about it. You're so focused on getting this swoop, you forget to tend to this coup. So the improv coach is like, actually, Nene, we're kind of done for the day, but y'all have fun. So now we heading over to Paramount to look at the set of The New Normal before they tear it down for a show that actually gets viewers. After celebrating Nene's success, we head out to dinner at Crustacean. Meanwhile, we see Kenya throw herself at another man that isn't interested. Porsha ain't drinking at this dinner though, and they're asking, are you preggers? She soon will be. But not by Booty Toot Stewart. You like hanging out with thieves. I mean, you let the heifer steal $80,000 from you. Then you cozy up to Phaedra, so I don't know about people you hang out with. You don't have the gift of discernment. Heifer got you for a grip and a baby name. I wouldn't fess up to it. Phaedra's like, well, I ain't even gonna tell you the name of my workout video, cause Kenya gonna steal it. Well, that's what happens when you're too cheap to get a trademark. So they talk about how men use money to control women and they independent doing it for themselves. And Candy said, well, Porsha, how do you feel about being under the thumb of Booty Toot Stewart, since you can't put cheese on a chicken wing without his permission? And Kenya breaks the news that she's broken up with Walter. How do you break up with somebody that was never interested? So the girls are like, okay, you want us to keep inviting Walter around or you want us to leave him alone? Because I was going to give him some advice on his toupee, but if you want me to keep it to myself, I'll keep it to myself. Nene said, well, we like Walter. I'm glad Penelope Thomas barely invited him to an event. Kenya say, what you like about him, that he embarrasses me? Yes, that he won't go along with your farce. Kenya, you really gonna say, oh, it's interesting he was at Porsha's party and I didn't even get an invitation. Well, we knew you weren't gonna be nobody's plus one. And Porsha don't like you, and Cordelia ain't got use for nobody with a vagina, now that he's got his beard. Porsha said, oh, it was a great party. He seemed like he enjoyed it. Oh, God. Kenya get up crying and run off. Nene go after her. And Porsha's just looking so gleeful, like, yeah, I made her cry. Well, don't worry, heifer. Phaedra will be bringing you to tears, too. Nene gonna ask the staff, did a young lady just come through here? Young lady? Maybe a young lady did, but you're looking for Kenya Moore, a haggard, hard-faced, and harder-hearted harpy. Her heart has at least hardened against Porsha. My goodness, it's an obsession at this point. If she fixated on finding a successful relationship as much as she fixed on picking at Porsha, she might not have picked Mark. So Nene tries to get Kenya to come back to the table, and Kenya's like, well, I want to talk about my breakup amongst friends, not with Phaedra and Porsha. And that's where the shit ends. So I'm going to see you soon for love and hip-hop. So let's take it back down memory lane. So we open with Cynthia checking on Kenya, and Kenya saying, I don't want to hear Walter's name again. I was really irritated because y'all kept talking about my ex. He's not your ex. I mean, maybe an ex-employee. Why would I want to sit at a table with two people I despise and talk about a personal pain? Because you're a pain in the butt? Well, Kenya, you're our personal pain, so fair is fair. So we getting on a party bus to Vegas. Again, we have Nene thinking so much of herself. I have to go to work, so I'll be flying in first class and they'll be riding down the highway. And you didn't put this trip together, production did. So we gonna play an impersonate game on the bus. And again, we don't need Nene. Candy said she can't wait to gamble. What you playing, the penny slots? I couldn't see you coming up off a full nickel. So you must be playing penny slots. Oh, we have a baby Porsha saying, oh, y'all going to the strip club? I don't do strip clubs. Well, here we are less than a decade later and you're doing strippers. Then we do a little stand-up section and Candy talks about how she farted in some guy's face while he was chowing down on her coochie. Oh, Candy, the things we didn't need to know about you. And she's told this story several times. This time she didn't say it was Todd, but apparently it's happened with Todd too. Maybe you should take some gas X before sex. Candy saying, I'll never take a bus again. You can catch me like Nene. I'll be flying first class. When have we ever seen you spring for a ticket, Candy? When have we ever seen you upgrade your room boss style? I've never seen it. So while they're on the slow bus to Vegas, Nene has arrived, and the spotlight is on the back of her head. This is when we get Phaedra at her oddest. It must be really, really late. Porsha got a pickle at the gas station so everybody thinks she's pregnant. And Phaedra gonna say, oh, well, feed a rabbit your urine, and if it dies, you're pregnant. So we just killing rabbits for pregnancy tests? You can't go get an EPT? Kenya said, now hold up, I'm supposed to be the nutty boo one, but you out here pissing on rabbits. So the bus finally gets to the hotel and we gonna throw a wig on, call it macaroni, and get to the party. They're giving us shake and go. Now, Nene, you don't want to talk about ding-dongs and dildos and penises, but you in Vegas, oh, it's a girls' trip. You don't have to wear any panties. Who's trying to peek at your puss? So we pile in the limo to go to this strip club, and Portia's like, I thought we were going to a burlesque show. I can't go to a strip club without my sissy's approval. But your sissy put you out with nothing. You didn't approve that. You left that marriage without so much as a plugged nickel. Nene said, unless Cordelia gonna pop on a wig and be a part of the girls' trip, we don't need his opinion or approval. He's getting his toot on at home. You can get your toot on in the club. Ooh, this was the first time Phaedra lied to Porsha. Phaedra told her, oh, it's not a strip club, it's burlesque. And she did fool somebody, Porsha. She fooled you. Time and time again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Porsha has a ministry inside of her to help other girls her age. Help them get their clothes off. Help them with the orgasm. Porsha really stayed her happy butt in the limo. I mean, this isn't even a men's strip club. But all talk turned to controlling Cordelia. And again, Cordelia is just mad he's not getting the dick he deserves. He wishes he didn't have to bulldog with Porsha. He'd much rather play with Apollo. So this is early lesbonics. Lesbonics. They are at a women's strip club, and Phaedra just walk up to this girl who got her legs open, and Phaedra just putting her face in the place. Lesbonics. So Nene tells us about her strip club beginning and how she wasn't going to leave the club until Greg put a ring on it. Candy said, well, you know, Cordelia said she can hang out with us, but she's got to be home before the streetlights are on to make sure he's got his 3 hots and his freshly made cot. Is she a wife or a nanny? So everybody feels bad that Porsha can't get out of her gilded cage. So the next morning, Cynthia comes to check on Porsha while she's on the phone with her controlling sissy, her bossy bitter bottom. So Cynthia prods her, why don't you like going to the strip club again? We had a ball. Well, actually a lip, since it was all women there. You had a lip. I just don't feel comfortable in a strip club. Of course Cordelia's not comfortable in a strip club. All those breasts, oh, he couldn't stand it. So we get in the car to go to the next event, and they say, now Porsha, did you really not want to be at the strip club because you ain't uncomfortable, or was it your bitter bossy bottom that kept you from peeping at the bottoms? Porsha said, I'm a Christian, and Phaedra said, hold on, I'm a preacher's child. And Jesus was friends with prostitutes and thieves and everybody else. So if you want to witness, you got to witness with the people who need it. Phaedra, you ain't nobody's Christian. We all know you're the devil in disguise. Apollo knows it. Angela Stanton knows it. I know it. I hope you know it too. Porsha said, I don't feel like he's traditional. He's helping me be a better woman. And can nobody teach you how to be a better woman like a sissy? Child, how Cordelia gonna teach you how to be a better woman when he ain't got pussy to first? And won't even own that he's intrigued by the pussy. He's intrigued by the pussy. But he's scared of the pussy. I said he's scared of the pussy. If you scared to live your own life, your own truth, and you out here tooting in secret, how you gonna teach Porsha how to feel like a natural woman? Well, Cordell just likes the house to be run a certain way, and for him to even let me on this trip, I'm proud of him. Let you? Let you. My husband ain't gonna let me do shit. I'ma tell him where I'm going and what I'm doing because I love him. I'll invite him along because, we're married and that's why we're married. We like to spend time together. But hopefully he'll have something else to do. Like if I'm gonna go on a guy's trip, it's find something else to do. Busy yourself. I'm sure do all the stuff that I don't want to do with you. Go hang out with that friend I can't stand. Or go to the restaurants I don't like. Watch the movies I can't stand. Enjoy the house without me in it. I'm sure I'm getting on your nerve. Oh. The look on Nene's face. Let you. Pageant gonna say everybody can't be a lawyer or a doctor. We need a few dummies. And you sure do because you're always looking for a patsy, a Mog, a moron, an Apollo, or a Porsha. Nene said, trust me, he loves you and he's gonna fight. No, he don't. No, he don't. He said this beard is getting too itchy and shaved. Just chopped it off, honey. So Porsha and Phaedra go to pee, and the other girls are talking about how controlled Porsha is, and Candy said, well, he got the money, he running the show. The sissy show. And he did not love Porsha. I don't even think he liked her. So once we finish bashing Sissy Stewart, we go to try on some feather headpieces from the girls at Jubilee. And from controlling to contrived, we see Candy picking out some engagement rings. And the one she's looking at is $7,500. I've seen cuter rings for $7,500. But damn, Todd makes some decent money before that light fell on Elise Neal's head and she sued the pants off of him. He could at least spend $15,000. I mean, that ring looked like something really good if it came out of a Cracker Jack box, but not to come out of a jewelry store. Lord, after we go to dinner, we head up to Nene's room for a bedroom candy experience. Lesbonics. So we get down to get our Kegels on. And it's all fun and games until Candy pulls out the pregnancy test. Now it's a contest of who can bite the strawberry the sexiest. Lesbonics. Candy was grooming those girls. Oh, God. Okay, what made Phaedra just jump off the rails like this? So we're all having fun biting the strawberries. Kenya does hers, and Phaedra's like, come on, Captain Crunch. Yeah, she a nasty noise, Captain Crunch. Maybe somebody will like it. Walter won't. I mean, Kenya looks furious. Oh, my God. You are not that hurt over that extra you hired. Girl, boom. So Nene tries to pick up Kenya's spirit since they fell on the floor because Phaedra put her ass on her shoulders. Now, Felon Parks, how you gonna say everything Kenya comes to, she has to be the center of attention when you were the one making her the center of attention? She wasn't saying shit to you. She actually acted like she had some sense on this trip, but you prod and poke and put people in penitentiaries. Oh, Lord, so we're all going to write a sex and relationship question, but we're not going to put our names on it. So Kenya's question is, what do you do when someone who you think is your friend initially hurts you and act like nothing happened? I would say move the hell on and get a better friend. That's what I'd do. I'd keep it cute and keep it on mute. You cut me to the white meat, Phaedra. You did. You attacked my character. You hurt me on purpose. When things happen, I am big enough to apologize. I know I'm not perfect. You want an apology, Kenya? I don't know why you'd want an apology from a liar, but okay. So Kenya like, okay, heifer, you ain't gonna apologize. You ain't gonna apologize. I'm gonna just move on with it. Well, that was the shit, and I have to take one. So I'll see you soon for love and hip hop.